the landscape within your sectors to see how nutrition information can be of help. But we also want to understand some issues related to the sector capacities with regard to nutrition information management and see how this project can work with you. So the purpose of being here, we want to make sure that we work together, we review all that together and be able to generate that information that is going to set the foundation of how OPM and the project, the Nipn project, gets a proper way of working with you.
First and foremost, we all understand and appreciate the need for data in planning and implementation, right? Ideally, that is the key gap that the Nipn project came to fill, right? Yes. To the extent that initially we've been rolling nutrition projects and nutrition information activities, but the element of data has been resurfacing over and over again. Amen? So ideally, we've come here to caucus and understand what are our strategic opportunities within our ministries. Yes? What are they? And we map them so that we understand them and ensure that the Nipn project can be able to support us to really fill up with these opportunities, right?
Nipn, in full, it's the National Information Platforms for Nutrition. It's a Government of Uganda project. It is implemented by Office of the Prime Minister and the Secretariat of Nutrition. It's being implemented in partnership with UBOS, and it's funded by the European Union. It started in 2018. It's supposed to be a 4-year project. And what we are trying to do in this project is to expedite, to move at a very fast speed to recover the lost time. How did the project come about? We need to know that in the country, Uganda, we've had a lot of researches, a lot of studies, a lot of assessments, a lot of evaluations, meaning that there is a lot of data out there on nutrition. But there was a challenge on how those researches are coordinated. There was a challenge of ownership of the data that is collected by the various actors or stakeholders of nutrition. There was also a challenge of not only ownership, but the quality of that data out there. What was the quality? No one knew. In other words, a lot of things were happening. So this project came in to ensure that all the data that is being collected out there is coordinated, is pulled into a central repository for ease of access and utilization by various actors of nutrition. What are the key objectives of this project? To create capacity within national institutions to operate and maintain a national information platform for food and nutrition programs. Creating capacity within national institutions. Now, that means this is a capacity development project, and it's solely aimed at creating the capacity in national institutions, in the MDAs, ministry sectors and agencies, for them to have a functional information platform for nutrition.
Ask a quick question. How many of you are nutritionists? You know, if we have like sustainable nutrition goals, okay, we would have everything including SDGs. So nutrition is not all about what you eat. It's about how you eat it and how you produce it and how you make it, you know, palatable but also nutrition sensitive. So that at the end of the day you have a healthy population, and a healthy population that is productive. You realize that nutrition is basically cutting across. Now, there is now new research coming out showing, you know, your nutrition status and your health is dependent on where you live and determined by, you know, what access to the markets, and how do you get access to the markets? You have to use roads, right? And so you really see we need Minister of Trade, which is already on board, but we also need Minister of Works. Before you know, everybody will be on board, because nutrition is such important. It's so important that it should not be done only by nutritionists. What is lacking, in my view, is that we don't have one, just like in other sectors, we don't have enough data and enough capacity, to analyze these things and be able to inform the policy making, but also the programming. What should we do to improve the nutrition status or health status of our individuals? We can't have many nutritionists. We want to have them, but we can't have them because of the structural complications that we have.
I'm impressed by this summary of this book here. And when you look at the goal of Nipn and then you look at the objectives, my appetite gets increased for the objective number 1. It's not labeled, but I imagine that the one on top is the objective number 1, which says create capacity within national institutions to operate and maintain national information platform for food and nutrition. Nipn may expire tomorrow, and we have not been told the roadmap of when some of these activities will reach us at the institution or at the sector level. This arrangement for information platform is very, very beautiful, but when will it reach some of us before we can say, Nipn, if you die today, we have no regret, we can bury you in peace, because you have built our capacity.
This is where we begin. We begin by calling people and telling them, hey, look, here is Nipn. This is what he's supposed to be doing. How do we get you involved? How do we really, really get people involved? We want them to get involved. We are always open to get them involved. But then we also want you to open not only your doors, but also your hearts to receiving us. So if we have a capacity building activity, we would expect you, especially Mr. Commissioner, to allocate 2, 3, 4, 5 people that can come and participate.
This is what the project exists for, to build the capacity of all the sectors, the MDAs relevant to nutrition. How is that going to be done? One is we need to assess your capacity needs with regard to nutrition information management. A consultant is being hired, and very soon OPM will send that consultant to all the core sectors and agencies and departments, and they do a capacity assessment, but in relation to nutrition information management data and all that. You can see the stunting levels. If you have them,
obtaining. Then categorize food fortification for consumers according to age groups, level of consumption, and then level of accessibility to fortified foods to the public, level of awareness as well as the importance of fortified foods. We don't know if people out there are aware of how important this is. And then info sheets can be generated from UNBS because they're the ones who have the primary data regarding these foods. National Industrial Development Policy is under review. Consumer Protection and Competition Policy being developed. These are just some of the ones we highlighted.
Ministry of Education staff. We also looked at food fortification, integration of nutrition in our plans, sensitization of education stakeholders. It's more like community mobilization, which involves parents and all kinds of people concerned with education. Then there is enforcing school demonstration farms. I think you all know what demonstration farms are. Then micronutrient supplementation. You know, at secondary level, they've been trying to give the adolescent girls folic acid, and then the young children have vitamin A, deworming, all those are done in schools. So we want to continue. These are activities we want to be helped with because they're not yet everywhere. Then annual nutrition events like debates, MDD and exhibitions. Then school health activities like health parades.
We looked at the strategic activities under specifically one area of biofortification, and biofortification is done in about 15 districts and in more than 1,500 schools are maybe consuming biofortified products. Okay, the products from the biofortified seeds, if I should say. But well, what support do we need as a ministry from Nipn? One, we need maybe help on data analysis or info sheets on the coverage of biofortification. So we need to know who grows them, where are they grown, what's their production, productivity, and all the related things in terms of coverage. Then we need to know from Nipn still, from the data analysis unit, and maybe we could have an info sheet showing the marketability of the seeds and the products. We are talking about biofortified seeds.
Initially, countries like Uganda or developing countries, when it comes to talking about malnutrition, we always focus on undernutrition. We forget the other part of that. But these days, when we are talking about malnutrition at a population level, we now talk about not only undernutrition, but different forms of malnutrition. It's not different type of malnutrition. I'm talking about different forms of malnutrition. And that's where now the scope has expanded beyond undernutrition. So that's where if you look at, you can see we are talking about undernutrition, and here we are also talking about overnutrition. But then these days a new concept which has been emerging now, where we are talking about this one. If you look at here, so this is the different forms of malnutrition.
When you look amongst yourselves, the cross-section of the government line sectors, the academia, the UN agencies, the civil society, and even some medical teams that understand on refugees, when you look at your cross-section, then you see that there is no doubt at all that we shall achieve what we are here for and what I've just read. Nutrition is a major development challenge in the country, where the 2016 report of UDHS food stunting at 29%, child wasting at 53%, anemia in women of reproductive age at 32%, among other indicators. This Nipn sector engagement retreat comes at an opportune time when the country is finalizing the NDP2, coming to the end of the NDP2, and also finalizing the documentation or the production of NDP3, and also the action plan 2 for nutrition. You are aware that Cabinet has already approved, has done its part in terms of the NDP3 direction, and we don't want nutrition to be left behind because it's key. With your active participation, this retreat has been able to map out the relevant nutrition sector policies, relevant data, nutrition relevant strategic activities, and nutrition policy relevant questions that Nipn project will support in terms of data analysis, and communication materials. Yeah? You had the idea, or you had some knowledge which became much more than you expected. I therefore would like you not to think that these strategic opportunities can be articulated by one voice or by a pair of people in the sector, but I would like to encourage you that when you go back to your sectors, please cause an engagement so that those opportunities, especially to do with nutrition support, are exploited.